Chapter 36. That night there was a storm, and I woke to hear the rain lashing the window panes. It was coming in the open window. Someone had knocked on the door. I went to the door very softly, not to disturb Catherine, and opened it. The barman stood there. He wore his overcoat and carried his wet hat. "Can I speak to you, Tenente?" "What's the matter?" "It's a very serious matter." I looked around. The room was dark. I saw the water on the floor from the window. "Come in," I said. I took him by the arm into the bathroom, locked the door, and put on the light. I sat on the edge of the bathtub. "What's the matter, Emilio? Are you in trouble?" "No, you are, Tenente." "Yes?" "They're going to arrest you in the morning." "Yes?" "I came to tell you. I was out in the town and I heard them talking in a cafe." "I see." He stood there, his coat wet, holding his wet hat, and said nothing. "Why are they going to arrest me?" "For something about the war." "Do you know what?" "No, but I know that they know you were here before as an officer, and now you are here out of uniform. After this retreat, they arrest everybody." I thought a minute. "What time do they come to arrest me?" "In the morning. I don't know the time." "What do you say to do?" He put his hat in the washbowl. It was very wet, and had been dripping on the floor. "If you have nothing to fear, an arrest is nothing. But it is always bad to be arrested, especially now." "I don't want to be arrested." "Then go to Switzerland." "How?" "In my boat." "There is a storm," I said. "The storm is over. It is rough, but you will be all right." "When should we go?" "Right away. They might come to arrest you early in the morning." "What about our bags?" "Get them packed. Get your lady dressed. I will take care of them." "Where will you be?" "I will wait here. I don't want anyone to see me outside in the hall." I opened the door, closed it, and went in the bedroom. Catherine was awake. "What is it, darling?" "It's all right, Cat," I said. "Would you like to get dressed right away and go in a boat to Switzerland?" "Would you?" "No," I said. "I'd like to go back to bed." "What is it about?" "The barman says they are going to arrest me in the morning." "Is the barman crazy?" "No." "Then please hurry, darling, and get dressed so we can start." She sat up on the side of the bed. She was still sleepy. "Is that the barman in the bathroom?" "Yes." "Then I won't wash. Please look the other way, darling, and I'll be dressed in just a minute." I saw her white back as she took off her nightgown, and then I looked away because she wanted me to. She was beginning to be a little big with the child, and she did not want me to see her. I dressed here in the rain on the windows. I did not have much to put in my bag. "There's plenty of room in my bag, Cat, if you need any." "I'm almost packed," she said. "Darling, I'm awfully stupid, but why is the barman in the bathroom?" "Shh, he's waiting to take our bags down." "He's awfully nice." "He's an old friend," I said. "I nearly sent him some pipe tobacco once." I looked out the open window at the dark night. I could not see the lake, only the dark and the rain, but the wind was quieter. "I'm ready, darling," Catherine said. "All right." I went to the bathroom door. "Here are the bags, Emilio," I said. The barman took the 2 bags. "You're very good to help us," Catherine said. "That's nothing, lady," the barman said. "I'm glad to help you, just so I don't get in trouble myself. Listen," he said to me. "I'll take these out of the servants' stairs and to the boat. You just go out as though you were going for a walk." "It's a lovely night for a walk," Catherine said. "It's a bad night, all right." "I'm glad I've an umbrella," Catherine said. We walked down the hall and down the wide, thickly carpeted stairs. At the foot of the stairs, by the door, the porter sat behind his desk. He looked surprised at seeing us. "You're not going out, sir?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "We're going to see the storm along the lake." "Haven't you got an umbrella, sir?" "No," I said. "This coat sheds water." He looked at it doubtfully. "I'll get you an umbrella, sir," he said. He went away and came back with a big umbrella. "It is a little big, sir," he said. I gave him a 10 lira note. "Oh, you're too good, sir." "Thank you very much," he said. He held the door open, and we went out into the rain. He smiled at Catherine, and she smiled at him. "Don't stay out in the storm," he said. "You will get wet, sir and lady." He was only the second porter, and his English was still literally translated. "We'll be back," I said. We walked down the path under the giant umbrella, and out through the dark wet gardens to the road and across the road to the trellised pathway along the lake. The wind was blowing offshore now. It was a cold, wet November wind. I knew it was snowing in the mountains. We came along past the chain boats and the slips along the quay to where the barman's boat should be. The water was dark against the stone. The barman stepped from beside the row of trees. "The bags are in the boat," he said. "I want to pay you for the boat," I said. "How much money have you got?" "Not so much. You send me the money later. That will be all right." "How much?" "What you want. Tell me how much." "If you get through, send me 500 francs. You won't mind that if you get through." "All right. Here are sandwiches." He handed me a package. "Everything there was in the bar. It's all here. This is a bottle of brandy and a bottle of wine. I put them in my bag." "Let me pay you for those." "All right. Give me 50 lire." I gave it to him. "The brandy is good," he said. "You don't need to be afraid to give it to your lady. She'd better get in the boat." He held the boat, it rising and falling against the stone wall, and I helped Catherine in. She sat in the stern and pulled her cape around her. "You know where to go?" "Up the lake." "You know how far?" "Past Luino." "Past Luino, Canero, Canobbio, Tranzano." "You aren't in Switzerland until you come to Brissago. You have to pass Monte Tamara." "What time is it?" Catherine asked. "It's only 11 o'clock, I said. "If you row all the time, you ought to be there by 7 o'clock in the morning." "Is it that far?" "It's 35 kilometers." "How should we go? In this rain we need a compass." "No, row to Isola Bella. Then on the other side of Isola Madre, go with the wind. The wind will take you to Palanza. You will see the lights, then go up the shore." "Maybe the wind will change." "No," he said. "This wind will blow like this for 3 days. It comes straight down from the Matorone. There is a can to bail with." "Let me pay you something for the boat now." "No, I'd rather take a chance. You get through, you pay me all you can." "All right. I don't think you'll get drowned." "That's good." "Go with the wind, up the lake." "All right." I stepped in the boat. "Did you leave the money for the hotel?" "Yes, in an envelope in the room." "All right. Good luck, Tenente." "Good luck. We thank you many times." "You won't thank me if you get drowned." "What does he say?" Catherine asked. "He says good luck." "Good luck," Catherine said. "Thank you very much. Are you ready?" "Yes." He bent down and shoved us off. I dug at the water with the oars, then waved one hand. The barman waved back deprecatingly. I saw the lights of the hotel and rowed out, rowing straight out until they were out of sight. There was quite a sea running, but we were going with the wind. Chapter 37. I rowed in the dark, keeping the wind in my face. The rain had stopped and only came occasionally in gusts. It was very dark, and the wind was cold. I could see Catherine in the stern, but I could not see the water where the blades of the oars dipped. The oars were long, and there were no leathers to keep them from slipping out. I pulled, raised, leaned forward, found the water, dipped and pulled, rowing as easily as I could. I did not feather the oars because the wind was with us. I knew my hands would blister, and I wanted to delay it as long as I could. The boat was light and rowed easily. I pulled it along in the dark water. I could not see, and hoped we would soon come opposite Palanza. We never saw Palanza. The wind was blowing up the lake, and we passed the point that hides Palanza in the dark, and never saw the lights. When we finally saw some lights much further up the lake and close to the shore, it was Intra. But for a long time we did not see any lights, nor did we see the shore, but rowed steadily in the dark, riding with the waves. Sometimes I missed the water with the oars in the dark as a wave lifted the boat. It was quite rough, but I kept on rowing, until suddenly we were close ashore against a point of rock that rose beside us, the waves striking against it, rushing high up and falling back. I pulled hard on the right oar and backed water with the other, and we went out into the lake again. The point was out of sight, and we were going on up the lake. "We're across the lake," I said to Catherine. "Weren't we going to see Palanza? We've missed it." "How are you, darling?" "I'm fine." "I could take the oars a while." "No, I'm fine." "Poor Ferguson," Catherine said. "In the morning she'll come to the hotel and find we're gone." "I'm not worrying so much about that," I said, "as about getting into the Swiss part of the lake before it's daylight and the custom guards see us. Is it a long way?" "It's 30-some kilometers from here." I rowed all night. Finally my hands were so sore I could hardly close them over the oars. We were nearly smashed up on the shore several times. I kept fairly close to the shore because I was afraid of getting lost on the lake and losing time. Sometimes we were so close we could see a row of trees and the road along the shore with the mountains behind. The rain stopped and the wind drove the clouds so that the moon shone through, and looking back I could see the long dark point of Castanola and the lake with whitecaps, and beyond, the moon on the high snow mountains. Then the clouds came over the moon again, and the mountains and the lake were gone. But it was much lighter than it had been before, and we could see the shore. I could see it too clearly, and pulled out where they would not see the boat if there were custom guards along the Pallanza road. When the moon came out again, we could see white villas on the shore on the slopes of the mountain, and the white road where it showed through the trees. All the time I was rowing. The lake widened, and across it on the shore at the foot of the mountains on the other side, we saw a few lights that should be Luino. I saw a wedge-like gap between the mountains on the other shore, and I thought that must be Luino. If it was, we were making good time. I pulled in the oars and lay back on the seat. I was very, very tired of rowing. My arms and shoulders and back ached, and my hands were sore. "I could hold the umbrella," Catherine said. "We could sail with that with the wind." "Can you steer?" "I think so." "You take this oar and hold it under your arm close to the side of the boat and steer, and I'll hold the umbrella." I went back to the stern and showed her how to hold the oar. I took the big umbrella that Porter had given me and sat facing the bow and opened it. It opened with a clap. I held it on both sides, sitting astride the handle hooked over the seat. The wind was full in it, and I felt the boat suck forward while I held as hard as I could to the two edges. It pulled hard. The boat was moving fast. "We're going beautifully," Catherine said. All I could see was umbrella ribs. The umbrella strained and pulled, and I felt us driving along with it. I braced my feet and held back on it, then suddenly it buckled. I felt a rib snap on my forehead. I tried to grab the top that was bending with the wind, and the whole thing buckled and went inside out, and I was astride the handle of an inside-out ripped umbrella, where I had been holding a wind-filled pulling sail. I unhooked the handle from the seat, laid the umbrella in the bow, and went back to Catherine for the oar. She was laughing. She took my hand and kept on laughing. "What's the matter?" I took the oar. "You look so funny holding that thing." "I suppose so. Don't be cross, darling. It was awfully funny. You looked about 20 feet broad and very affectionate holding the umbrella by the edges," she choked. "I'll row." "Take a rest and a drink. It's a grand night, and we've come a long way." "I have to keep the boat out of the trough of the waves." "I'll get you a drink. Then rest a little while, darling." I held the oars up, and we sailed with them. Catherine was opening the bag. She handed me the brandy bottle. I pulled the cork with my pocket-knife and took a long drink. It was smooth and hot, and the heat went all through me, and I felt warmed and cheerful. "It's lovely brandy," I said. The moon was under again, but I could see the shore. There seemed to be another point going out a long way ahead into the lake. "Are you warm enough, Cat?" "I'm splendid. I'm a little stiff. Bail out that water and you can put your feet down." Then I rowed and listened to the oarlocks and the dip and scrape of the bailing tin under the stern seat. "Would you give me the bailer?" I said. "I want a drink." "It's awfully dirty." "That's all right. I'll rinse it." I heard Catherine rinsing it over the side. Then she handed it to me dipped full of water. I was thirsty after the brandy, and the water was icy cold, so cold it made my teeth ache. I looked toward the shore. We were closer to the long point. There were lights in the bay ahead. "Thanks," I said, and handed back the tin pail. "You're ever so welcome," Catherine said. "There's more if you want it." "Don't you want to eat something?" "No, I'll be hungry in a little while. We'll save it till then." "All right." What looked like a point ahead was a long, high headland. I went further out in the lake to pass it. The lake was much narrower now. The moon was out again, and the Guardia di Fianza could have seen our boat black on the water if they had been watching. "How are you, Cat?" I asked. "I'm all right." "Where are we?" "I don't think we have more than about 8 miles more." "That's a long way to row, you poor sweet. Aren't you dead?" "No, I'm all right. My hands are sore is all." We went on up the lake. There was a break in the mountains on the right bank, a flattening out with a low shore line that I thought must be Cannobio. I stayed a long way out because it was from now on that we ran the most danger of meeting Gorizia. There was a high dome-capped mountain on the other shore, way ahead. I was tired. It was no great distance to row, but when you were out of condition it had been a long way. I knew I had to pass that mountain and go up the lake at least 5 miles further before we would be in Swiss water. The moon was almost down now, but before it went down, the sky clouded over again, and it was very dark. I stayed well out in the lake, rowing a while, then resting, and holding the oars so that the wind struck the blades. "Let me row a while," Catherine said. "I don't think you ought to." "Nonsense, it would be good for me. It would keep me from being too stiff." "I don't think you should, Cat." "Nonsense, rowing in moderation is very good for the pregnant lady." "All right, you row a little moderately." "I'll go back, then you come up. Hold on to both gunwales when you come up." I sat in the stern with my coat on, and the collar turned up, and watched Catherine row. She rowed very well, but the oars were too long and bothered her. I opened the bag and ate a couple of sandwiches and took a drink of the brandy. It made everything much better, and I took another drink. "Tell me when you're tired," I said. "Then, a little later, watch out the oar doesn't pop you in the tummy." "If it did," Catherine said, between strokes, "life might be much simpler." I took another drink of the brandy. "How are you going?" "All right." "Tell me when you want to stop." "All right." I took another drink of the brandy, then took hold of the 2 gunwales of the boat and moved forward. "No, I'm going beautifully." "Going back to the stern. I've had a grand rest." For a while, with the brandy, I rowed easily and steadily. Then I began to catch crabs, and soon I was just chopping along again with the thin brown taste of bile from having rowed too hard after the brandy. "Give me a drink of water, will you?" I said. "That's easy," Catherine said. Before daylight it started to drizzle. The wind was down, or we were protected by mountains that bounded the curve the lake had made. When I knew daylight was coming, I settled down and rowed hard. I did not know where we were, and I wanted to get into the Swiss part of the lake. When it was beginning to be daylight, we were quite close to the shore. I could see the rocky shore and the trees. "What's that?" Catherine said. I rested on the oars and listened. It was a motorboat chugging out on the lake. I pulled close up to the shore and lay quiet. The chugging came closer. Then we saw the motorboat in the rain a little astern of us. There were 4 Guardia di Fianza in the stern, their Alpini hats pulled down, their cape collars turned up, and their carbines slung across their backs. They all looked sleepy so early in the morning. I could see the yellow on their hats and the yellow marks on their cape collars. The motorboat chugged on and out of sight in the rain. I pulled out into the lake. If we were that close to the border, I did not want to be hailed by a sentry along the road. I stayed out where I could just see the shore and rowed on for 3/4 of an hour in the rain. We heard a motorboat once more, but I kept quiet until the noise of the engine went away across the lake. "I think we're in Switzerland, Cat," I said. "Really?" "There's no way to know until we see Swiss troops. Or the Swiss Navy. The Swiss Navy's no joke for us. That last motorboat we heard was probably the Swiss Navy. If we're in Switzerland, let's have a big breakfast. They have wonderful rolls and butter and jam in Switzerland." It was clear daylight now, and a fine rain was falling. The wind was still blowing outside up the lake, and we could see the tops of the whitecaps going away from us and up the lake. I was sure we were in Switzerland now. There were many houses back in the trees from the shore, and up the shore away was a village with stone houses, some villas on the hills and a church. I'd been looking at the road that skirted the shore for guards, but did not see any. The road came quite close to the lake now, and I saw a soldier coming out of a cafe on the road. He wore a gray-green uniform and a helmet like the Germans. He had a healthy-looking face and a little toothbrush mustache. He looked at us. "Wave to him," I said to Catherine. She waved, and the soldier smiled embarrassedly and gave a wave of his hand. I eased up rowing. We were passing the waterfront of the village. "We must be well inside the border," I said. "We want to be sure, darling. We don't want them to turn us back at the frontier." "The frontier is a long way back. I think this is the customs town. I'm pretty sure it's Brissago." "Won't there be Italians there? There are always both sides at a custom town." "Not in wartime. I don't think they let the Italians cross the frontier." It was a nice-looking little town. There were many fishing boats along the quay, and nets were spread on racks. There was a fine November rain falling, but it looked cheerful and clean, even with the rain. "Should we land then and have breakfast?" "All right." I pulled hard on the left door and came in close, then straightened out when we were close to the quay and brought the boat alongside. I pulled in the oars, took hold of an iron ring, stepped up on the wet stone, and was in Switzerland. I tied the boat and held my hand down to Catherine. "Come on up, Cat. It's a grand feeling." "What about the bags?" "Leave them in the boat." Catherine stepped up, and we were in Switzerland together. "What a lovely country," she said. "Isn't it grand? Let's go and have breakfast." "Isn't it a grand country? I love the way it feels under my shoes. I'm so stiff I can't feel it very well, but it feels like a splendid country. Darling, do you realize we're here and out of that bloody place?" "I do, I really do. I've never realized anything before. Look at the houses. Isn't this a fine square? There's a place we can get breakfast." "Isn't the rain fine? They never had rain like this in Italy. It's cheerful rain. And we're here, darling. Do you realize we're here?" We went inside the cafe and sat down at a clean wooden table. We were cockeyed excited. A splendid, clean-looking woman with an apron came and asked us what we wanted. "Rolls and jam and coffee," Catherine said. "I'm sorry we haven't any rolls in wartime." "Bread, then. I can make you some toast." "All right. I want some eggs fried, too." "How many eggs for the gentleman?" "3. Take 4, darling." 4 eggs. The woman went away. I kissed Catherine and held her hand very tight. We looked at each other and at the cafe. "Darling, darling, isn't it lovely?" "It's grand," I said. "I don't mind there not being rolls," Catherine said. "I thought about them all night, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I suppose pretty soon they will arrest us." "Never mind, darling. We'll have breakfast first. You won't mind being arrested after breakfast, and then there's nothing they can do to us. We're British and American citizens in good standing. You have a passport, haven't you?" "Of course. Well, let's not talk about it. Let's be happy." "I couldn't be any happier," I said. A fat gray cat with a tail that lifted up like a plume crossed the floor to our table and curved against my leg to purr each time she rubbed. I reached down and stroked her. Catherine smiled at me very happily. "Here comes the coffee," she said. They arrested us after breakfast. We took a little walk through the village, then went down to the quay to get our bags. A soldier was standing guard over the boat. "Is this your boat?" "Yes." "Where do you come from?" "Up the lake." "Then I have to ask you to come with me." "How about the bags?" "You can carry the bags." I carried the bags, and Catherine walked beside me, and the soldier walked along behind us to the old custom house. In the custom house a lieutenant, very thin and military, questioned us. "What nationality are you?" "American and British." "Let me see your passports." I gave him mine, and Catherine got hers out of her handbag. He examined them for a long time. "Why do you enter Switzerland this way, in a boat?" "I am a sportsman," I said. "Rowing is my great sport. I always row when I get a chance." "Why do you come here?" "For the winter sport. We are tourists, and we want to do the winter sport." "This is no place for winter sport." "We know it. We want to go where they have winter sport." "What have you been doing in Italy?" "I've been studying architecture. My cousin has been studying art." Why do you leave there? We want to do the winter sport. With the war going on, you cannot study architecture. You will please stay where you are, the lieutenant said. He went back into the building with our passports. You're splendid, darling, Catherine said. Keep on the same track. You want to do the winter sport. Do you know anything about art? Rubens, said Catherine. Large and fat, I said. Titian, Catherine said. Titian haired, I said. How about Montaigne? Don't ask hard ones, Catherine said. I know him, though. Very bitter. Very bitter, I said. Lots of nail holes. You see, I'll make you a fine wife, Catherine said. I'll be able to talk art with your customers. Here he comes, I said. The thin lieutenant came down the length of the custom house, holding our passports. I will have to send you into Locarno, he said. You can get a carriage and a soldier will go in with you. All right, I said. What about the boat? The boat is confiscated. What have you in those bags? He went all through the 2 bags and held up the quarter bottle of brandy. Would you join me in a drink? I asked. No, thank you. He straightened up. How much money have you? 2,500 lire. He was favorably impressed. How much has your cousin? Catherine had a little over 1,200 lire. The lieutenant was pleased. His attitude towards us became less haughty. If you are going for winter sports, he said, Wingen is the place. My father has a very fine hotel at Wingen. It is open all the time. That's splendid, I said. Could you give me the name? I will write it on a card. He handed me the card very politely. The soldier will take you into Locarno. He will keep your passports. I regret this, but it is necessary. I have good hopes they will give you a visa or a police permit at Locarno. He handed the 2 passports to the soldier, and carrying the bags we started into the village to order a carriage. Hi, the lieutenant called to the soldier. He said something in a German dialect to him. The soldier slung his rifle on his back and picked up the bags. It's a great country, I said to Catherine. It's so practical. Thank you very much, I said to the lieutenant. He waved his hand. Service, he said. We followed our guard into the village. We drove to Locarno in a carriage with the soldier sitting on the front seat with the driver. At Locarno we did not have a bad time. They questioned us, but they were polite because we had passports and money. I do not think they believed a word of the story, and I thought it was silly, but it was like a law court. You do not want something reasonable. You wanted something technical, and then stuck to it without explanations. But we had passports, and we would spend the money. So they gave us provisional visas. At any time this visa might be withdrawn. We were to report to the police wherever we went. Could we go wherever we wanted? Yes. Where did we want to go? Where do you want to go, Cat? Montreux. Montreux. It is a very nice place, the official said. I think you will like that place. Here at Locarno is a very nice place, another official said. I'm sure you would like it here very much at Locarno. Locarno is a very attractive place. We would like some place where there is winter sport. There is no winter sport at Montreux. I beg your pardon, the other official said. I come from Montreux. There is very certainly winter sport on the Montreux-Oberland-Verneuil Railway. It would be false for you to deny that. I do not deny it. I simply said there is no winter sport at Montreux. I question that, the other official said. I question that statement. I hold to that statement. I myself have luged into the streets of Montreux. I've done it not once, but several times. Luging is certainly winter sport. The other official turned to me. Is luging your idea of winter sport, sir? I tell you, it would be very comfortable here in Locarno. You would find the climate healthy. You would find the environs attractive. You would like it very much. The gentleman has expressed a wish to go to Montreux. What is luging? I asked. You see, he has never even heard of luging. That meant a great deal to the second official. He was pleased by that. Luging, said the first official, is tobogganing. I beg to differ, the other official shook his head. I must differ again. The toboggan is very different from the luge. The toboggan is constructed in Canada of flat laths. The luge is a common sled with runners. Accuracy means something. Couldn't we toboggan? I asked. Of course you could toboggan, the first official said. You could toboggan very well. Excellent Canadian toboggans are sold in Montreux. Oakes brothers sell toboggans. They import their own toboggans." The second official turned away. "Tobogganing," he said, "requires a special piste. You could not toboggan into the streets of Montreux." "Where are you stopping here?" "We don't know," I said. "We just drove in from Brissago. The carriage is outside." "You will make no mistake in going to Montreux," the first official said. "You will find the climate delightful and beautiful. You will have no distance to go for winter sport." "If you really want winter sport," the second official said, "you will go to the Engadine or to Milan. I must protest against your being advised to go to Montreux for the winter sport. At Les Vents, above Montreux, there is excellent winter sport of every sort." The champion of Montreux glared at his colleague. "Gentlemen," I said, "I am afraid we must go. My cousin is very tired. We will go tentatively to Montreux." "I congratulate you," the first official shook my hand. "I believe that you will regret leaving Locarno," the second official said. "At any rate, you will report to the police at Montreux." "There will be no unpleasantness with the police," the first official assured me. "You will find all the inhabitants extremely courteous and friendly." "Thank you both very much," I said. "We appreciate your advice very much." "Goodbye," Catherine said. "Thank you both very much." They bowed us to the door, the champion of Locarno a little coldly. We went down the steps and into the carriage. "My God, darling," Catherine said, "couldn't we have gotten away any sooner?" I gave the name of a hotel one of the officials had recommended to the driver. He picked up the reins. "You have forgotten the army," Catherine said. The soldier was standing by the carriage. I gave him a 10 lira note. "I have no Swiss money yet," I said. He thanked me, saluted, and went off. The carriage started, and we drove to the hotel. "How did you happen to pick out Montreux?" I asked Catherine. "Do you really want to go there?" "It was the first place I could think of," she said. "It's not a bad place. We can find some place up in the mountains. Are you sleepy?" "I'm asleep right now." "We'll get a good sleep. Poor cat, you have had a long bad night." "I had a lovely time," Catherine said, "especially when you sailed with the umbrella." "Can you realize we're in Switzerland?" "No, I'm afraid I'll wake up and it won't be true." "I am too." "It is true, isn't it, darling? I'm not just driving down to the Stazione in Milan to see you off." "I hope not. Don't say that. It frightens me. Maybe that's where we're going." "I'm so groggy I don't know," I said. "Let me see your hands." I put them out. They were both blistered raw. "There's no hole in my side," I said. "Don't be sacrilegious." I felt very tired and vague in the head. The exhilaration was all gone. The carriage was going along the street. "Poor hands," Catherine said. "Don't touch them," I said. "By God, I don't know where we are." "Where are we going, driver?" The driver stopped his horse. "To the Hotel Metropole." "Don't you want to go there?" "Yes," I said. "It's all right, Cat." "It's all right, darling. Don't be upset. We'll get a good sleep and you won't feel groggy tomorrow." "I feel pretty groggy," I said. "It's like a comic opera today." "Maybe I'm hungry." "You're just tired, darling. You'll be fine." The carriage pulled up before the hotel. Someone came out to take our bags. "I feel all right," I said. We were down on the pavement going into the hotel. "I know you'll be all right. You're just tired. You've been up a long time." "Anyhow, we're here." "Yes, we're really here." We followed the boy with the bags into the hotel. Chapter 38. That fall the snow came very late. We lived in a brown wooden house in the pine trees on the side of the mountain, and at night there was frost, so that there was thin ice over the water in the 2 pitchers on the dresser in the morning. Mrs. Göttingen came into the room early in the morning to shut the windows, and started a fire in the tall porcelain stove. The pine wood crackled and sparkled, and then the fire roared in the stove, and the second time Mrs. Göttingen came into the room, she brought big chunks of wood for the fire and a pitcher of hot water. When the room was warm, she brought in breakfast. Sitting up in bed eating breakfast, we could see the lake and the mountains across the lake on the French side. There was snow on the tops of the mountains, and the lake was a gray steel blue. Outside, in front of the chalet, a road went up the mountain. The wheel ruts and ridges were iron hard with the frost. and the road climbed steadily through the forest and up and around the mountain to where there were meadows and barns and cabins in the meadows at the edge of the woods, looking across the valley. The valley was deep, and there was a stream at the bottom that flowed down into the lake, and when the wind blew across the valley you could hear the stream and the rocks. Sometimes we went off the road and on a path through the pine forest. The floor of the forest was soft to walk on. The frost did not harden it as it did the road. But we did not mind the hardness of the road because we had nails in the soles and heels of our boots, and the heel nails bit into the frozen ruts, and with nailed boots it was good walking on the road and invigorating. But it was lovely walking in the woods. In front of the house where we lived, the mountain went down steeply to the little plain along the lake, and we sat on the porch of the house in the sun and saw the winding of the road down the mountainside and the terraced vineyards on the side of the lower mountain, the vines all dead now for the winter, and the fields divided by stone walls, and below the vineyards the houses of the town on the narrow plain along the lake shore. There was an island with 2 trees on the lake, and the trees looked like double sails of a fishing boat. The mountains were sharp and steep on the other side of the lake, and down at the end of the lake was the plain of the Rhone Valley, flat between the 2 ranges of mountains. And up the valley, where the mountains cut it off, was the Dent du Midi. It was a high snowy mountain, and it dominated the valley, but it was so far away that it did not make a shadow. When the sun was bright, we ate lunch on the porch, but the rest of the time we ate upstairs in a small room with plain wooden walls and a big stove in the corner. We bought books and magazines in the town, and a copy of Hoyle, and learned many 2-handed card games. The small room with the stove was our living room. There were 2 comfortable chairs and a table for books and magazines, and we played cards on the dining table when it was cleared away. Mr. and Mrs. Göttingen lived downstairs, and we would hear them talking sometimes in the evening, and they were very happy together, too. He had been a head waiter, and she had worked as maid in the same hotel, and they had saved their money to buy this place. They had a son who was studying to be a head waiter. He was at a hotel in Zurich. Downstairs there was a parlor where they sold wine and beer, and sometimes in the evening we would hear carts stop outside on the road, and men come up the steps to go in the parlor to drink wine. There was a box of wood in the hall outside the living room, and I kept up the fire from it, but we did not stay up very late. We went to bed in the dark in the big bedroom, and when I was undressed I opened the windows and saw the night and the cold stars and the pine trees below the window, and then got into bed as fast as I could. It was lovely in bed with the air so cold and clear and the night outside the window. We slept well, and if I woke in the night I knew it was from only one cause, and I would shift the feather bed over very softly so that Catherine would not be wakened, and then go back to sleep again, warm and with the new lightness of thin covers. The war seemed as far away as the football games of someone else's college, but I knew from the papers that they were still fighting in the mountains because the snow would not come. Sometimes we walked down the mountain into Montreux. There was a path went down the mountain, but it was steep, and so usually we took the road and walked down on the wide, hard road between fields, and then below between the stone walls of the vineyards, and on down between the houses of the villages along the way. There were 3 villages, Chernay, Fontaine-Vent, and the other I forget. Then along the road we passed an old square-built stone chateau on a ledge on the side of the mountainside, with the terraced fields of vines, each vine tied to a stick to hold it up. The vines dry and brown and the earth ready for the snow, and the lake down below flat and gray as steel. The road went down a long grade below the chateau, and then turned to the right, and went down very steeply and paved with cobbles into Montreux. We did not know anyone in Montreux. We walked along beside the lake and saw the swans and the many gulls and terns that flew up when you came close and screamed when they looked down at the water. Out on the lake there were flocks of grebes, small and dark, and leaving trails in the water when they swam. In the town we walked along the main street and looked in the windows of the shops. There were many big hotels that were closed, but most of the shops were open, and the people were very glad to see us. There was a fine coiffeur's place where Catherine went to have her hair done. The woman who ran it was very cheerful, and the only person we knew in Montreux. While Catherine was there, I went up to a beer place and drank dark Munich beer and read the papers. I read the Corriere della Sera and the English and American papers from Paris. All the advertisements were blacked out, supposedly to prevent communication in that way with the enemy. The papers were bad reading. Everything was going very badly everywhere. I sat back in the corner with a heavy mug of dark beer and an open glazed paper package of pretzels, and ate the pretzels for the salty flavor and the good way they made the beer taste, and read about disaster. I thought Catherine would come by, but she did not come, so I hung the papers back on the rack, paid for my beer, and went up the street to look for her. The day was cold and dark and wintry, and the stone of the houses looked cold. Catherine was still in the hairdresser's shop. The woman was waving her hair. I sat in the little booth and watched. It was exciting to watch, and Catherine smiled and talked to me, and my voice was a little thick from being excited. The tongs made a pleasant clicking sound, and I could see Catherine in 3 mirrors, and it was pleasant and warm in the booth. Then the woman put up Catherine's hair, and Catherine looked in the mirror and changed it a little, taking out and putting in pins, and stood up. I'm sorry to have taken such a long time. Monsieur was very interested, were you not, Monsieur? The woman smiled. Yes, I said. We went out and up the street. It was cold and wintry, and the wind was blowing. Oh, darling, I love you so, I said. Don't we have a fine time? Catherine said. Look, let's go someplace and have beer instead of tea. It's very good for young Catherine. It keeps her small. Young Catherine, I said, that loafer. She's been very good, Catherine said. She makes very little trouble. The doctor says beer will be good for me and keep her small. If you keep her small enough, and she's a boy, maybe he will be a jockey. I suppose if we really have this child, we ought to get married, Catherine said. We were in the beer place at the corner table. It was getting dark outside. It was still early, but the day was dark, and the dusk was coming early. Let's get married now, I said. No, Catherine said, it's too embarrassing now. I show too plainly. I won't go before anyone and be married in this state. I wish we'd gotten married. I suppose it would have been better, but when could we, darling? I don't know. I know one thing. I'm not going to be married in this splendid matronly state. You're not matronly. Oh, yes, I am, darling. The hairdresser asked me if this was our first. I lied and said no, we had 2 boys and 2 girls. When will we be married? Any time after I'm thin again. We want to have a splendid wedding with everyone thinking what a handsome young couple. And you're not worried? Darling, why should I be worried? The only time I ever felt badly was when I felt like a whore in Milan, and that only lasted 7 minutes, and besides, it was the room furnishings. Don't I make a good wife? You're a lovely wife. Then don't be too technical, darling. I'll marry you as soon as I'm thin again. All right. Do you think I ought to drink another beer? The doctor said I was rather narrow in the hips, and it's all for the best if we keep young Catherine small. What else did he say? I was worried. Nothing. I have wonderful blood pressure, darling. He admired my blood pressure greatly. What did he say about you being narrow in the hips? Nothing at all. He said I shouldn't ski. Quite right. He said it was too late to start if I'd never done it before. He said I could ski if I wouldn't fall down. He's just a big-hearted joker. Really, he was very nice. We'll have him when the baby comes. Did you ask him if you ought to get married? No, I told him we'd been married 4 years. You see, darling, if I marry you, I'll be an American, and any time we're married under American law, the child is legitimate. Where did you find that out? In the New York World Almanac in the library. You're a grand girl. I'll be very glad to be an American, and we'll go to America, won't we, darling? I want to see Niagara Falls. You're a fine girl. There's something else I want to see, but I can't remember it. The stockyards? No, I can't remember it. The Woolworth Building? No. The Grand Canyon? No, but I'd like to see that. What was it? The Golden Gate. That's what I want to see. Where is the Golden Gate? San Francisco. Then let's go there. I want to see San Francisco anyway. All right, we'll go there. Now let's go up the mountain. Should we? Can we get the MOB? There's a train a little after 5. Let's get that. All right, I'll drink one more beer first. When we went out to go up the street and climb the stairs to the station, it was very cold. A cold wind was coming down the Rhone Valley. There were lights in the shop windows, and we climbed the steep stone stairway to the upper street, then up another stairs to the station. The electric train was there waiting, all the lights on. There was a dial that showed when it left. The clock hands pointed to 10 minutes after 5. I looked at the station clock. It was 5 minutes after. As we got on board, I saw the motorman and conductor coming out of the station wine shop. We sat down and opened the window. The train was electrically heated and stuffy, but fresh cold air came in through the window. "Are you tired, Cat?" I asked. "No, I feel splendid." "It isn't a long ride." "I like the ride," she said. "Don't worry about me, darling. I feel fine." Snow did not come until 3 days before Christmas. We woke one morning and it was snowing. We stayed in bed with the fire roaring in the stove and watched the snow fall. Mrs. Göttingen took away the breakfast trays and put more wood in the stove. It was a big snowstorm. She said it had started about midnight. I went to the window and looked out, but could not see across the road. It was blowing and snowing wildly. I went back to bed and we lay and talked. "I wish I could ski," Catherine said. "It's rotten not being able to ski." "We'll get a bobsled and come down the road." "That's no worse for you than riding in a car." "Won't it be rough?" "We can see. I hope it won't be too rough. After a while we'll take a walk in the snow." "Before lunch," Catherine said, "so we'll have a good appetite." I'm always hungry. So am I. We went out in the snow, but it was drifted so that we could not walk far. I went ahead and made a trail down to the station, but when we reached there we had gone far enough. The snow was blowing so we could hardly see, and we went into the little inn by the station and swept each other off with a broom, and sat on a bench and had vermouths. "It is a big storm," the barmaid said. "Yes. The snow is very late this year." "Yes." "Could I eat a chocolate bar?" Catherine asked, "or is it too close to lunch? I'm always hungry." "Go on and eat one," I said. "I'll take one with filberts," Catherine said. "They are very good," the girl said. "I like them the best." "I'll have another vermouth," I said. When we came out to start back up the road, our track was filled in by the snow. There were only faint indentations where the holes had been. The snow blew in our faces so we could hardly see. We brushed off and went in to have lunch. Mr. Göttingen served the lunch. "Tomorrow there will be skiing," he said. "Do you ski, Mr. Henry?" "No, but I want to learn." "You will learn very easily. My boy will be here for Christmas, and he will teach you." "That's fine. When does he come?" "Tomorrow night." When we were sitting by the stove in the little room after lunch, looking out the window at the snow coming down, Catherine said, "Wouldn't you like to go on a trip somewhere by yourself, darling, and be with men and ski?" "No, why should I? I should think sometimes you would want to see other people besides me." "Do you want to see other people?" "No." "Neither do I." "I know, but you're different. I'm having a child, and that makes me contented not to do anything. I know I'm awfully stupid now, and I talk too much, and I think you ought to get away so you won't be tired of me." "Do you want me to go away?" "No, I want you to stay. That's what I'm going to do." "Come over here," she said. "I want to feel the bump on your head. It's a big bump." She ran her finger over it. "Darling, would you like to grow a beard?" "Would you like me to?" "It might be fun. I'd like to see you with a beard." "All right, I'll grow one. I'll start now this minute. It's a good idea, and it will give me something to do." "Are you worried because you haven't anything to do?" "No, I like it. I have a fine life. Don't you?" "I have a lovely life, but I was afraid because I'm big now that maybe I was a bore to you." "Oh, Cat, you don't know how crazy I am about you." "This way?" "Just the way you are. I have a fine time. Don't we have a good life?" "I do, but I thought maybe you were restless." "No. Sometimes I wonder about the front and about people I know, but I don't worry. I don't think about anything much." "Who do you wonder about?" "About Rinaldi and the priest and lots of people I know, but I don't think about them much. I don't want to think about the war." I'm through with it." "What are you thinking about now?" "Nothing." "Yes, you were. Tell me." "I was wondering whether Rinaldi had the syphilis." "Was that all?" "Yes." "Has he the syphilis?" "I don't know." "I'm glad you haven't. Did you ever have anything like that?" "I had gonorrhea." "I don't want to hear about it. Was it very painful, darling?" "Very. I wish I'd had it." "No, you don't." "I do. I wish I'd had it to be like you. I wish I'd stayed with all your girls so I could make fun of them to you." "That's a pretty picture." "It's not a pretty picture, you having gonorrhea. I know it. Look at the snow now." "I'd rather look at you, darling. Why don't you let your hair grow?" "How grow?" "Just grow a little longer." "It's long enough now." "No, let it grow a little longer, and I could cut mine, and we'd be just alike. Only one of us blonde and one of us dark." "I wouldn't let you cut yours." "It would be fun. I'm tired of it. It's an awful nuisance in the bed at night." "I like it." "Wouldn't you like it short?" "I might. I like it the way it is. It might be nice short. Then we'd both be alike. Oh, darling, I want you so much. I want to be you, too." "You are. We're the same one." "I know it. At night we are. The nights are grand." "I want us to be all mixed up. I don't want you to go away. I just said that. You go if you want to, but hurry right back." "Why, darling, I don't live at all when I'm not with you." "I won't ever go away," I said. "I'm no good when you're not there. I haven't any life at all anymore." "I want you to have a life. I want you to have a fine life. But we'll have it together, won't we? And now, do you want me to stop growing my beard or let it go on?" "Go on. Grow it. It will be exciting. Maybe it will be done for New Year's." "Now, do you want to play chess?" "I'd rather play with you." "No, let's play chess." "And afterward we'll play?" "Yes." "All right." I got out the chessboard and arranged the pieces. It was still snowing hard outside. One time in the night I woke up and knew that Catherine was awake too. The moon was shining in the window. It made shadows on the bed from the bars on the window panes. "Are you awake, sweetheart?" "Yes. Can't you sleep?" "I just woke up thinking about how I was nearly crazy when I first met you. Do you remember?" "You were just a little crazy." "I'm never that way any more. I'm grand now. You say grand so sweetly. Say grand." "Grand." "Oh, you're sweet. And I'm not crazy now. I'm just very, very, very happy." "Go on to sleep," I said. "All right, let's go to sleep at exactly the same moment." "All right." But we did not. I was awake for quite a long time, thinking about things and watching Catherine sleeping, the moonlight on her face. Then I went to sleep too.